This episode of BTP Daily is brought to you by K Rico Coffee, man. One of the best coffee places you can go to, and they're also selling coffee for everyone all over the place. But it's nice to have some coffee at home. It's also nice to have some coffee somewhere else, but it's also tremendous to go have some over at K Rico Coffee. For those of you that live down in South Florida, definitely a place you want to go to. It's over at 2728 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood. And you will enjoy it. JR and the gang have some tremendous coffee, have some tremendous types of coffee recipes and all this other good stuff that you will definitely enjoy. But more what you will enjoy, other than the coffee, let me be completely honest with you on this one, is the people. You go in there, you chat, they talk. What a concept, right? People talking nowadays face to face and, actually caring about what you say. And no need to really look at your cell phone in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, K Rico Coffee gives you that more human experience, that human touch, because they care so much about their craft, but they also care so much about making you, the consumer, happy with your cup of coffee. Whatever type of coffee you might like, everybody has different tastes, everybody has different likes. K Rico Coffee has it for you. K Rico Coffee. It's the people that make coffee good.
Tonight I experienced something I have never experienced in my now going on 5 years of covering college soccer, whether it's men's or women's. And it goes beyond college soccer. It goes beyond a collegiate team or two collegiate teams going face to face. Of course, it was a very intriguing matchup between Miami and Florida State, as it usually is in every type of competition that they have, whether it's in American football, last night in volleyball. You could be having darts, matchup in darts, or throwing a ball of paper in a wastebasket, and it's going to be competitive between those two schools. Today's match was a little bit more beyond that. Obviously, outside of the result, which the University of Miami won 1-0 over Florida State, a 9th-ranked Florida State in the women's soccer. But my story goes beyond that, because the attraction for a good portion of the community here in South Florida was one player. And I remember when the calendar came out for the University of Miami, as I do the co-commentary for the women's team at the University of Miami, was on October 25th, when Florida State was supposed to be coming down to South Florida. I said, guys, watch out with this calendar, because it is going to be a very unique experience for all involved. And that ended up being the case. I was not disappointed on that end. And the reason for it is quite simple. Young lady from Venezuela, I think she's 19 now, Deyna Castellanos. That should say it all for many of you who know about the game worldwide. Her appeal around the world. And I said it in the broadcast, I don't think there's been a player at this level, at the collegiate level, that has been able to garner so much attention and so much media attraction at such a young age in the collegiate game as Deyna Castellanos has already in her 3rd year here in the United States. And it's so interesting to see that. It's so interesting and so compelling to see that the Venezuelan community here in South Florida came out in pretty much the 2nd highest attended game for University of Miami women's soccer. I just want you to understand the perspective here, where a lot of attendances are 100. You have student body, parents from both teams coming. It's not a highly attended engagement, to say the least. And on a Thursday night to boot. Yes, it was senior night for the University of Miami. It was a special night for those parents, but not in the way that they thought that one player was going to garner so much attention. Mind you, there was media coverage at a women's soccer game at the University of Miami. That alone should tell you volumes of how much this match meant to several people here in South Florida. There was many people dressed in There were many people dressed in orange and green. There were a lot of people dressed in garnet and gold. But the majority of the people there were dressed in vino tinto and yellow. A lot of Venezuelan jerseys were present at this stadium here in Miami, in Coral Gables more specifically. That, to me, tells you, or should say a lot more about what occurred here, because the Venezuelan community, and it's been part of the Venezuelan plight for years, and just Deyna Castellanos just ends up being another character amongst that has inspired young girls in Venezuela to want to play football and to better their lives and everything else that comes with it. Not just in Venezuela, but here in Miami and throughout parts of the world where she's been engaged. She's a person that's come through in so many situations that during the World Cup in Russia was followed by people based on where she was on Instagram. That should tell you something about her following and her appeal and her attraction as far as what she's been able to do in her footballing career, albeit very young still, very in the very initial stages of what promises to be a very brilliant career. Yeah, Florida State lost 1-0, but the big winners today were the Venezuelan community who came in droves to support one of their own. And that should be more telling than anything else that occurred tonight at Cobb Stadium, despite the 30-plus shots on goal that were taken by, or 30-plus shots total that were taken by Florida State. And the one that was taken by Miami, because ironically, that one was all they needed to win in extra time. Ironically, a full moon, and ironically, it was a silver bullet by Mallory Olsen that was able to come through in a big way. Nothing really at stake for Miami as they were already eliminated, but for Florida State, it was a huge blow to their playoff aspirations. But as I said, they weren't the big winners. Miami were winners tonight, but the biggest winners tonight were those young ladies and young men and women and men grown up already of all ages, sizes, and all types of beliefs and all types of situations that looked to one person in a way that no one, not even myself included, have ever seen in a college soccer game. No one in my production staff thought the same, or no one in my production staff would disagree upon that, because they too said the same thing. Hell, I spoke to a few people from Venezuela that live in Mexico, Venezuelans that live in Mexico, that flew into Miami to watch Deyna Castellanos play. So that alone should give you all the ammunition you need to understand how big this game was for a lot of people that have really been suffering a lot of social strife and just wanted to have one bit of joy of a player that's represented their country the way that Deyna Castellanos has.